Welcome, beautiful souls, to the House of Esu. Today, we are diving into one of the most profound and liberating shifts that you can make on your spiritual journey. We are going to talk about how to stop trying to control everything and instead enter the sacred flow of creation. So, let's start with a truth that most of our suffering comes from one place: the illusion that we're in control. It's as simple as that. We believe that if we can just manage every outcome, protect ourselves from every risk, and force life to go according to our plan, that we'll finally feel safe. We'll finally feel happy. But this is a trap. The more we grip, the more life slips through our fingers. It's like trying to grip hold of smoke. The more we try to build a fortress to protect ourselves, the more we realize that we have actually built a prison to limit ourselves. So what is this control mode, right? It's an orientation from ego born from fear. And neurologically, it's your survival brain on overdrive. It's constantly scanning for threats and trying to predict the future to keep you safe. Emotionally, it's the feeling of anxiety, of holding your breath, of believing that if you let go for even a second, everything will fall apart. And energetically, it's a state of contraction. It's a clenched fist. It's a tight jaw, a shield against the universe. And this state of control creates a painful, exhausting cycle. Look at this loop on the screen. It starts with a fear of uncertainty. The unknown feels dangerous. That's a real common experience, right? And this fear leads to an attempt to control. We grip, we force, we micromanage. Feels like an understandable reaction. But reality pushes back. This creates resistance, it creates exhaustion. And we drain our energy fighting a current that is infinitely more powerful than we are, swimming against the tide of reality. And when we fail to control the reality that we so believe that we can, it only increases the fear. It confirms our belief that the world is unsafe and the cycle begins again, only stronger this time. And this is the trap. Spinning you around, like corkscrewing into your soul. That's a horrible image. But there is another way. The solution is not to control harder. It's not to double down into that methodology. It is to make the sacred shift. And this is the shift from a life of control to a life of creation. It's a fundamental shift in how you relate to reality itself. You stop trying to manipulate the external world and you start aligning with the creative flow that lives within you. You move from a state of forcing and fear to a state of allowing and trust. So let's look at the difference here. Control is fear-based. It uses force and effort. It creates resistance and it drains your energy. It is the ego screaming, "My will be done." And creation, on the other hand, it's trust-based. It moves with flow and with ease. It allows for expansion and it generates energy. It is the soul whispering, "Divine will be done through me." Can you feel the difference in your body right now? Just hearing those words: control, my will be done. Creation, divine will be done through me. I put on a scary voice for the first one there. Might have had an additional effect, but can you feel it? Can you feel the difference between resting under the illusion that you have any capacity to control anything versus empowering yourself to the realization that you are guided and protected wherever you are, and your role is flow, not separation? So how does this shift that I'm speaking of actually work? Well, it is a simple three-part process. So let's walk through this now. The first part, surrender. This is about letting go of the outcome. You stop obsessing over how and you anchor into the what and the why. Let go of the how. The how is none of your business. The how is the flow of the river. You don't ask the river how it's going to flow in the direction of the town it's heading toward. It just happens. Trust the flow of the river. Now, for a person who has lived a lot of their life controlling things or attempting to control things or living under the illusion of control, surrender is a crazy thing when you first do it because you let go of that thing that you're holding on to, and there is a feeling of falling. And it can be jarring. And for a lot of people, that means they reach out and they grab those things that they've just tried to let go of. But here is the secret, guys. When you are surrendering, when you are letting go of these things, it will feel like falling, but it's only if you allow that to take place that a moment occurs where it switches and you realize that you were never falling, you were in fact flying. That's when the power of surrender hits you in a way that you will never forget. Now, the second part of how this process works is the alignment, and you connect with your soul signature. You move from ego will to divine will. Your soul signature is that part of you that is unchanging. It is that part of you that is indistinguishable from the divine, but still unique, like a wave from the ocean. The wave is temporarily individuated from the ocean and it looks individual for that period of time until it returns. And this is, I think in Hinduism they call it the Atman, the the um the real you within. Some may call it the higher self, some may call it the soul, whatever it may be. But there is a part of you experientially that has been exactly the same from when you were this big to this big to this big to whatever. It's that part of you that you recognize all the time. It's that part of you that is you beyond all the things you know or you've learned or you believe or you like or you dislike. Be beneath all of that. That's your soul signature. It is the unique fingerprint that you carry into this earth, into this reality, into this life. And it allows you to play a very important role because we are all individually as people. What we are is we are energy transmutation devices. We are here to take one form of energy and turn it into another. Now, we can see that through the way that we have children. We can see that through the way that we eat, right? But it happens in every possible way. It could be the rays of the sun hitting your skin and going through you. It could be the information that you're receiving and you're processing it and it's moving through your unique configuration of a human being, unique because it has this fingerprint, this soul signature. And when that information comes in and goes out, it's different. It's different. It's unique. You are putting uniqueness into the world. And there are billions and billions and billions of us doing exactly the same thing. And this keeps the experience of reality ever changing, ever fresh, ever new, ever unique as we continue to explore different ways to experience the experience of experiencing. So your soul signature is that unique part of you that has always been the same since as far back as you can remember. So when I say the second step here is alignment, that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about surrendering into that part of you that has always been the same. Now, depending on the level of work you've done before hearing me say this, that will either be incredibly abstract or incredibly obvious, and you might even be feeling it now. But this is the game. And let me just throw one more piece into you there, right? This part of you, this soul signature that you have, this is the only thing that you will ever possess that's permanent. As we know, the cells in your body are on a rotation every 9 years or so. So every 9 years or so, you've got a completely different physical vessel. The outer world is continuously changing. There are a few immutable laws of nature, and one of them is the law of impermanence, that everything will cease to exist at some point. So how can you depend on anything? You can't lean on anything like a crutch. It doesn't make any sense because it will just fall at some point. So if you ever need to lean on anything, the only place that will be there for you consistently, unchanging, forever is your soul signature. The kingdom of heaven is within you. So that's the second stage. The third stage here is flow. You enter the creative current of the universe and your actions become effortless, guided, and supported. Now, I remember a teacher first talking to me about flow and said, wow, when you're in this state, things move 10 times faster. And I thought, so I was in business, I thought, well, I can send 10 times more emails and make 10 times more phone calls in the same space of time. That's not what it is. It is polarity over pursuit. You no longer have to chase. You're not the busy little bee flying around the garden trying to find the nectar. You are the glorious flower standing there knowing that just by being you and surrendering into your flowery goodness, everything else will take care of itself. Surrender to the outcome. Give up trying to battle with the how. Let it go. Alignment. Connect to that part of you that has always been the same. Name it if you need to. And third, flow. Getting into the current. And if you are surrendering and letting go of the need to know how something is going to happen or force it by your hand, and in that space you are connecting with your soul signature and finding that peace, like it is natural that you feel more in flow. And the more you train the muscle of surrender, the more you map out the inner coordinates of your soul signature so that you can close your eyes and find that state in a heartbeat. The more you do these things, the more the gateway to flow just continues to remain open for you. Now, you cannot shift what you do not see. It's the wonderful thing about the shadowy inner world that we have. So the first step here is to recognize the pattern. How do you know that you're in control mode? It's a good question, right? It's a good question. It's one of those sense check questions that we should have. Well, firstly, check your body. Is your jaw tight? Clenching that jaw, your shoulders tense, and up here, is your brow furrowed? Is your breath shallow? And breath is a great guide here. We could say that you have 4 levels of breathing. You have the first level, which is very shallow, mainly just when you're scared. Cortisol is up and you're breathing very, very kind of shoulder breathing. Second level is level 2. It's chest breathing. It's slightly less frantic. It's slightly deeper, slightly less shallow, but we're still in the shallow realm. Now, at these 2 levels, this is where we find stress, right? We have the third level of breathing, which is where we inflate belly, which is where we inflate belly, chest, shoulders. It's more calm, it's more peaceful, it's more considered, it's more centered. And this type of breathing, for a number of reasons, is incredibly healthy for us. Number one, the lymphatic system, which is kind of like the sewer system in the body, essentially, helping to keep things vibrant and vital. This doesn't have its own pump. The pump for this is in your diaphragm. So when you're breathing through your body, you're pumping this, which is through your belly. So you're pumping this, which is fantastic. But additionally, what you're doing is when you're getting at that level 3, you are really inflating every internal chamber and making the most of it. And what the effect of this does is it calms the nervous system exponentially. Now, there is a 4th level of breathing, but I won't touch on that now. It's not too relevant. There is a masterclass in my school community where I go into this for a good solid hour and break this down for you. But my point is this. If you are checking your body to determine the pattern of control, then look at the depth of breathing. Am I here? Am I here? Am I feeling very calm right now? Am I feeling very centered? It's a great starting point. Check your mind. Are you obsessively planning, replaying conversations, thinking, if I don't do it, it won't happen? Stuff like that coming up for you. And check your energy. Do you feel a sense of urgency or rushing? Are you pushing against reality? Are you exhausted? Again, remember the river. If we're in flow with the river, it takes us and we glide. We're not using our energy. We are riding a wave of exponential energy behind us. If we're trying to swim against the river, not only are we using our own energy, but we're using it in the least efficient way possible, and we're going to burn out. Now, some people are built for that kind of life, but the vast majority are not. So that pathway is burnout for most. Now, awareness is the beginning of the shift. So when you are tuning into the body, tuning into the mind, tuning into the energy, just notice. No judgment. Just, there it is. I'm in control mode. That's it. Just an acknowledgement. Nothing more, nothing less. And once you see the pattern, the second step is to surrender the outcome. And hear me on this. Surrender is not giving up. It is giving over. It is handing the how to a power far creator than far greater, and more creative than your conscious mind. When you release your rigid attachment to how things must happen, you make space for miracles. You make space for solutions and opportunities that your mind could never ever have conceived of. And your mantra here is I release my grip. I trust the flow. I am open to the highest outcome. Step one, recognize the pattern. Step two, surrender the outcome. And step three is to align with your truth. This is where you pivot from the ego's question to the soul's question. The ego is always asking, what can I control to feel safe? What can I label? What can I define? What can I judge in order to give me the sense of understanding and being in control that will give us the sense of safety? That's the ego's question. But your soul signature, your true self, it asks a much more beautiful question. Your soul signature asks you, what would like to be born through me? What am I a vessel for? What am I a channel for? What am I a conduit for? Within your being is a very unique configuration. Again, your soul signature. Now, as energy passes through you and out the other side, you don't have to do anything. You just have to be. Because your unique configuration is there. And as that passes through you, let's imagine it as light passes through the back of you. And your unique configuration here, let's say, for example, your soul signature is red or is pink, a nice fuchsia pink. And as this white light shines through you, it hits your soul signature, and everything after that, the light turns beautiful fuchsia, rose pink, this kind of color. Didn't have to do anything. Just surrender. Surrender to receive. And surrender to be the open vessel for what comes through, for what would like to be born through you. Shift your focus from managing the external world to listening to that internal impulse. That is where your true power, your creative genius, and I don't say that lightly, that's where it lives. And step four, finally, act from inspiration. Because surrender is not passivity. It is surrender is clearing the channel so that inspired action can just flow through you. That's what surrender is. You're surrendering the illusion of control. You're surrendering the need to hold things, and you're just letting it happen the way that you were designed. That's what it is. The way that human beings use their body, especially in relation to divine energy, it's like putting a golden retriever in a Ferrari. Like, they're going to have fun and they're going to try their best, but they're not going to get the best out of it. That's the relationship that most people have with the human body, especially when it comes to the things we're talking about here. So this is a game changer. This is an absolute game changer. So surrender is not passivity. It is clearing the channels so that inspired action can flow through you. And how do you know it's inspired action? That's a good question. Well, it feels different. There is it has like an effortless effort, let's say. It feels light, it feels energizing, it's not heavy in any way. It feels fun, it feels joyous, it feels like what you're meant to be doing. And you'll notice that it has divine timing. You're never forcing doors. It seems to be happening at the exact right moment. Things seem to be falling into place. These things just seem to present themselves to you as you approach them. The doors unlock, the opportunities arise. And it is met with synchronicity because the universe seems to completely conspire to support you. Everything comes together. The stars align and magic is made. This is the fundamental difference between hustling and flowing. And when you flow, as I said earlier, things happen exponentially quicker. Exponentially quicker. So it's not just about enjoyment and genius and everything. It's just efficiency. Like forcing our way on reality is a just a backwards way to deal with things. Like, but we're so in that, we're so ingrained in that, and so stuck in it. And because I guess we've been with it for so long, it seems hard to find an alternative, right? But the key here is that this is insanely practical. This is not some gimmicky woo-woo thing that just feels kind of nice and wishy-washy and doesn't work. No, it just absolutely, it completely is not. Like if I consider my journey before finding this work, say 12 years ago, I was in the city of London, wildly successful, multi-million dollar career, everything going fantastic, and just absolutely burned out, not enjoying it, not loving it in the slightest. I was very, very, very well trained to bend reality, to go out there and try to control things and try to move physical matter reality to my will. I was very good at it. But at the age of about 30, I was probably about 5 years away from burnout maximum. And I found this work. And then everything shifted because I stopped chasing, quite literally stopped chasing. It is a night and day comparison. Before I was a hunter, 24/7, always chasing, always pushing, always, always, always. And now, listen, I'm always present. I'm always ready. I'm always open to receive whatever it is that has to come. And because I have that relationship, I don't second guess reality. Reality presents it, then that's what it's meant to be. I don't use my mind and say, well, hold on a minute, no, because I'm supposed to be moving in that direction. Because I understand that what reality brings me is the one that as soon as I do that thing, psh, it has the potential. That's my flow. That's where I'm meant to be. If I'm trying to force something over here, it's going to be a superficial, shallow experience compared to what it could have been. So I'd like to leave you with this. Control is the illusion. Creation is your power. Your only work is to make the sacred shift that we have talked about here. It is unbelievably simple to look upon this and learn this and start practicing this. It might be slightly harder to master it because as you are going into this and you are letting go of the illusion of control, you'll start to realize that the illusion of control and using the notion of control like you have in your life so far has operated like a safety blanket. When things are getting sketchy, you kind of try to control something. Same as when you're a child, when things are getting scary, you pull the blanket over your eyes. And, we know that that might have helped you at one point when you were younger, but now it's just stopping you from seeing reality as it really is. So I just say this. This is very easy to pick up and start practicing and start learning. The difficulty comes in the mastery because you are having to let go and lift that safety blanket and you can expose yourself to intensity and difficulty and challenge. And it can be tough. But if you have food poisoning, being sick can be tough. It doesn't mean it's the wrong thing to do. It means you have to allow the process to move through, look after yourself, give yourself self-love so that you're nurturing while this is happening and you let it happen. That's it. That's what occurs. And it's exactly the same thing here. As these things are coming up and they start to feel difficult, don't push back. Don't stop. Don't, pick up the vomit and put it back in. I'm sorry, that was disgusting, but I had to say it that way. Don't do that. Practice this daily. Stay with it daily. Stay with it. You'll come up against points of resistance, points of difficulty, points of intensity, but they are the gateways on the other side of which is your absolute liberation, on the other side of which is your life of flow, on the other side of which is your experience of moving 10 times faster than you do now, on the other side of which is the genius that is yours in order to create a masterpiece of a life. So let's do this. We're here. We came here to play this game. You didn't get to this point in the video for no reason. Let's do this. Happy surrendering. See you soon.